Canada's first service on June 10, 1925 in Toronto. The founding churches had a long history in Canada prior to 1925, including Methodist, Congregational Union of Canada, 70% of Presbyterians, and the General Council of Local Union Churches. The first 100 years of the Oakville United Churches is a story of remarkable individuals that sparked community worship. 4 of the 8 present-day United Churches in Oakville held worship services long before 1925. All 4 early Oakville United Churches had Methodist beginnings. Preacher and circuit rider William Case. In 1808, William, an American Methodist, like many circuit preachers, rode for weeks in a circuit preaching to those gathering together. William arrived from present-day Buffalo and preached at Palermo in 1808. His circuit was 240 miles with 12 regular appointments. The congregation was founded at Palermo in 1812. Lawrence Hager from New Jersey and his brother were first settlers in Palermo, originally called Hagerstown. Lawrence and his wife were deeply committed Methodists and first held worship meetings in their home. The combination of the preacher and the need to meet in a purpose-built place of worship created the first present-day Oakville United Church in 1824, with the building of Palermo Chapel and the current building in 1867. Palermo congregation helped establish over 20 churches and chapels in the Oakville area. From the Palermo website and Historical Society. Rural Oakville, Munns United Church. A very large portion of those settling in the Oakville area around the time of the War of 1812 came through the States, some loyalists to the British Crown and others traveling from the United States as immigrants from Europe. David Munn, a loyalist, and his wife built a home, farm buildings, and a tavern at Munn's Corner, now 6th Line and Dundas Road. Daniel, a Methodist, held the first worship at Munn's in 1817. By 1823, there were regular services in the Munn's farm home. Munn's became part of the Trafalgar Circuit of the Wesleyan Methodist Church in 1830. A log schoolhouse was built next to the home, and the congregation worshiped there. David's son, Jordan Munn, donated land, and a simple wooden church building was dedicated in 1844. This history is courtesy of Munn's United Church. First town church in Oakville, St. John's United Church. Justice Williams, a leader and a community activist, was an Anglican by birth. He and his wife started the first Sabbath school for children. Justice personally financed much of the cost to build the church pictured here, the Methodist Chapel in Oakville. It is situated at the corner of Lakeshore Road and Thomas Street, dedicated in 1840. Less than a year later, it was sold to the Anglican Church due to a lack of funds, but the congregation continued to meet. In 1851, with a successful building campaign, came the purchase of a lot at Dunn and Randall Streets, and then the building of a church, which was dedicated in January 1852. St. John's United Church was known then as the Oakville Methodist Church. The Oakville congregation grew, and at the beginning of the 20th century, St. John's was described as being in the Golden Age. The church was the hub of the predominantly British society, acting as a spiritual center and a social center, bringing young people together. Taken from Oakville Historical Society. First Town Church in Bronte, Walton Memorial United Church. The Bronte Methodist Church, founded in 1850, was a wooden structure, moved to the current church site while a brick building was erected. Wallace Walton, born in England, arrived in Bronte in 1861. Wallace was a leader of the Bronte Methodist Church, and his family dedicated the brick church as his legacy. Walton Memorial Church, overlooking Bronte Harbor, was built by local farmers and bricklayers in 1913. Reverend Jim Gill, in 2024, marked his 40th anniversary being Walton's longest-serving minister. Reverend Gill has officiated at thousands of weddings, baptisms, funerals, as well as several hundred confirmations. He's also trained 20 minister interns. Taken from Oakville News, November 2024. Working together. That all may be one is the motto of the United Church and is taken from John 17:21. It's a reminder that we are both a united and a uniting church. 4 new united churches were built in Oakville between 1955 and 1994. All churches valued the support from the existing Oakville United churches in order to develop and flourish. St. Paul's United Church. With the support of St. John's United Church and Halton Presbytery Church Extension Council, in 1955 a new church was formed. A temporary building provided by the Church Extension Council was erected in time for Christmas activities. The Christmas Sunday service saw it filled to capacity. Sunday school classes were offered in January 1956. In a short time, a request was made to Halton Presbytery to constitute and charter the new growing congregation. In 1956, the congregation boasted 218 charter members and was formally established as St. Paul's United Church. The service of constitution was held at St. John's United Church. As the congregation grew, successive building programs were undertaken. First, the Christian Education Building, then an auditorium, and on Sunday, April 3rd, 1966, the sanctuary was opened and dedicated. Maple Grove United Church. In 1955, a student minister, Darwell Welsh, started church and Sunday school services in Maple Grove School Auditorium. He was working for St. John's United Church and canvassed homes in the Maple Grove School area to support the new church. The first service had 12 members in attendance and 35 students in the school. Reverend T.H. Smith was hired to oversee the services at both Maple Grove and St. Paul's churches. On June 16, 1957, the Constitution of Maple Grove United Church was signed in a service held at St. John's Church. There were 170 names on the charter roll. An official dedication service happened on May 1, 1960, for the Maple Grove Church building. Trinity United Church. In 1962, Halton Church Extension Council acquired a 5-acre site in North Oakville for a church. A portable was brought to the site in 1964. The new congregation was yoked with Muns United to form the 2-point Trafalgar Pastoral Charge. At the constituting service on January 17, 1965, 91 persons were received as charter members of Trinity United Church. In early 1976, plans to construct a new building were underway. The Church Extension Council agreed to exchange Trinity's site with a developer for 3 acres plus a cash settlement, giving Trinity more visibility and access to McCraney Street. On June 1, 1981, was the inaugural service in the new building for Trinity United Church. In January of 1985, Muns and Trinity were both strong enough in their own, so the Trafalgar Pastoral Charge was dissolved. Glen Abbey United Church. In 1986, a task force was formed by Halton Presbytery with members including St. Paul's, St. John's, Maple Grove, and Muns churches. Worship services started in 1988 at St. Matthew's Catholic School, and services moved through several school locations. The church was constituted on January 13, 1991, with 71 members, and the building was dedicated in November 1994. With 5 acres of land, but needing only half, the church partnered with Del Manor, donating 2.5 acres valued at $900,000 for a retirement home in exchange for 25% ownership in the retirement building. This innovative partnership, the first of its kind for a Canadian church, is governed by a business trust called Abico. Trust profits, over $3.1 million to date, support projects aligned with the United Church's mission, benefiting Glen Abbey, the Horseshoe Falls Regional Council, and the National Church.